Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to the episode 6 of From an Idea to an OutSystems app. It's amazing how we are already in episode 6. I have to admit I've never thought we could reach so far. So I hope you have been enjoying the episodes so far. So for the ones that are joining for the first time or seeing this for the first time, the goal for these episodes is to show how we start with an idea and then we create an OutSystems app based on that idea. So the application that I'm building, it's an application for myself. It's a paddle personal coach, an application that will help you manage the games I play and also prepare the new games. And we have been having different episodes to build this. We start with data model. We already move through APIs, doing tests. And last episode, we talked a little bit about front end. And now we have already created the home page, or we are creating the home page, the first screen of the application, of this mobile application. And the goal for today is to finish that home page. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here so far. We have a mobile application. Okay, I'm just gonna log in here real quick, and you can see that we have created these applications. This was done on episode 5. Okay, so now let's complete a little bit this screen. Okay, first thing that I want to do is, I believe this is a little bit small. Okay, so I want to increase the font size here. Okay, because right now the font size, let's just check real quick. The font size on the computer, let's look at the font size. It's 14. Okay, I want to have it 16, but instead of writing just 16, what I'll do is I'm going to look at the style guides that we have, and let's check what's the variables that we can use, the CSS variables. So on the typography, we can see that if we want to use the font of 16, right? This is the variable that we should use. Okay. So now, real easy, what I'm going to do is I'll come here to my theme, and on that, on the coach main message, okay, we now can add here the font. Okay, so let's just say that the font size is going to be our variable. Okay, and let's put font size base. Okay, great. Now that I've got this, another thing that I want to do is to also improve the font here. So I want to increase this a little bit, and also I want to make this align to the right. So let's go again to typography. I think here we can use a stronger one that could be the adding 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this class. Okay, so let's go here. Now let's open the home page. Okay, and on the recent matches on this container, we can give it this style. Okay, the adding 6. Cool. Now another thing that I want to do is these matches here. Okay, just want to align these to the right because it doesn't make sense to be on the left. Okay, so let's publish to see the result, and let's see if this is coming up in the way we want. Okay, let's refresh the screen and let's see what happens. Okay, so now we should see, yeah, the font is bigger on the message, and also this is aligned to the right, and now this is a little bit bigger. Okay, nice. So when I open this, right, one of the things that we can see here, it's actually the games. This is nice, but I think we're missing something here. We need to know the type of match. Okay, if you remember, well, it was on the first episode, we can have 3 different type of matches. That's a match type, static entity, and it can be a mix, a tournament, or a regular game. So what we want to do is on the right here have the match type and also give different colors depending on what is the type of match. Okay, so let's do that. How we're going to do that? Okay, let's look at the list here. Okay, so we now have here this expression that is taking the entire row. Okay, let's enclose this in containers. I like more to work with containers. Okay, and well, what I want to do now is actually I want to make this a little bit smaller. Okay, let's say that this is 8. Okay, not the started one, sorry, this one. Okay, I want to say that this container will just be 8 columns, and I'm going to add a new container here, and this container will now have that information. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna on the container, I'm just gonna make it align to the right, and I'm gonna use an expression here. Okay, so the expression here will be get matches list current, the match, and the match type. Okay, if you see the match type, let's just open it really quick. The match type, it's a static entity with the information that I was mentioning. Now we already have the match type here, but let's change a little bit the classes. So first things first, I want to make this smaller. Okay, so let's look here at typography again. I want to make this, small like this, body small. So let's use font size S. Okay, so when we're writing classes, we use this column. When we are using the variables, we use the right, this last column. So first thing is going to say this attribute here is font size S. Okay, let's see if I'm in the right place. Okay, I'm in this container. Well, let's move this to the container. Okay, it's font size S. Now after that, I want to say that it's bold also. Okay, and I want to change the colors depending on the match type. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something here. Okay, so if the matches, the list current, the match type ID is let's say it's entities match type, it's a mix, right? The container, if it is a mix, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this class text line lighter. Okay, how did I come up with this? Well, to be honest, I know this by heart, but if we come here to colors, okay, we can see that we have a palette of colors here. So on the line, we can check the color values, and we have the different, so we have the color lime, for example, and we have the different shades of line. So I'm going to use the lighter one here. Okay, so I'll use lime for the mix. Okay, and now I have another if, so inside. So I'm gonna just copy this because I'm really lazy. Okay, and I'm gonna say if this is from match type, let's say regular game. Okay, the color should be, let's call it, I don't know, orange. And if not, let's use pink. Okay. Okay, so now this should do it. Now with this would be what we need to have a tag here and a different color depending on the match type. Okay, it's already published. Let's just refresh home real quick. And as you can see, we now have here the list, and when we open the list, it hasn't applied. So let's check why it didn't apply. Okay, so we have the span. It has the font size. I forgot the space. Okay, can you see here? Bold, text line. Okay, so that's my problem. Okay, So let's just move here real quick. Let's go to the container. Let's go to here the font and just add here a space. Well, I could add a space everywhere here, right? But it's faster if I put one here. Okay, so this one is done. Oh, I should have seen it on the preview that it wasn't working, right? Now, next, other things that we want to do. If you see, there's this something here that is when the list is being loaded. Okay, we are going to show this, this list updating container. I actually prefer to put the list here inside this, okay, and just use here the data fetched. Okay, I'm not going to use, if it's empty, it will just show an empty list, or it won't show anything. But I rather use this, to control whether I'm showing the list updating or the list content, even if it is empty. Okay. Now, another thing that I want to add is, you see we have here the list of matches, and this can grow, right? So one of the things that I want to do is to add the search here. So by the way, a note, I'm not seeing your questions in real time because the streaming isn't exactly at the same time that I'm speaking. Okay, there's sometimes a delay, so sometimes I only get the questions after after I've done what I'm doing. Okay, so let me just take a look here, because there's a question. So why did you choose to headline inline ifs in the expression instead of having a if widget on the screen? Is there a best practice for that? Well, Ricardo, that's actually a good question. So this is, I think it's kind of a personal, it's a personal decision. I like to use ifs when I know that that is something that is going to show one or the other. Okay, when there's a perfectly defined toggle in what I'm going to see. When it's just to show classes or some little details inside expressions, for example, or classes, I use inline. So it's just my personal taste, because sometimes if you have a lot of ifs here, it gets really complicated to read, and for me sometimes it's easier, to come just here and just, even doing the spacing and read. Okay, if it is mixed, it's this; if it's regular, it's this; if otherwise, it's this. Also, in the way I like to ident this. So this is how I use. I don't know if there's a written best practice, but at least that's the way I do it. But thanks for the question, of course. Moving on, I want to put here, a search, okay, because I want to be able to search here in list and to filter this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look here for my content, right? I've got this handle. Let's just enclose this in a container, because I want this to be all aligned up here. Okay, and I'm just gonna add a new container here, okay, on the bottom of this. And what I want to do is I'm actually going to call this, let's give it a style so we can then define it later. Let's call this, I don't know, something like the match, search. I always like to give the name of what it is and then add the, this wrapper suffix, okay, to the class. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the search. Well, it's not referenced. Let me reference really quick here from OutSystems UI. And I'm going to use the search. Okay. And I'm going to apply. And I'm going to use the search element here. So I'm just going to drag and drop this to here. Let me see if this is on where I want it to be. Well, yeah, it's inside the container. And this container, it's inside. Okay, it's where I want this. Cool. So now, what I want to do is I want to create a variable here. Let's just create a new local variable. Let's change the name for search text. okay? And what I want to do is whenever I have content here, I want to search on my data. So on the get matches, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna, just really quick add a filter here. Well, actually I should have had a filter already for the match created by, right? It should be from my get user ID. So this is the system action that gives me what is the ID of the user that is logged in, because I just want to see my matches. And now what I want to see is we're going to use that text, right? So first thing is I want everything in case search text is empty. Okay, so if this is empty, I'm going to get the everything, or it means if not, I'm going to use this this logic. Okay, so I'm going to use search the text for the sorry, the location, and also for the match type. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the match type, match type ID, like. Okay, I'm going to use the like, and the like, it's going to be, something that is, with this wildcard. It's going to be like the search text, okay? And this is going to be like this. Or, well, let me see what I'm doing wrong here. Or I'm going to do on the location name, labels, sorry, also like, this is my problem. Okay, like, also this, and my search text. Okay. Cannot be applied in match type. Okay, so the match type identifier, it's a type of identifier, but it's a text. Okay, so if you look here, this is the type, right? It has a label of the type text, although it's a primary key. Now, what we need to do is just come here and just change this to, or use this function that is the identifier to text. So the platform treats this as a text, and now you can use the like. Okay, cool. Now, the only thing we need to do is whenever we type this, I'm gonna get the matches, right? Let's just change the name so this gets simple. Now, I already add the search text here. Now, the only thing I need to do is I need to use the onChange event of the search input control. And whenever you change the text, what I need to do is I need to refresh the query get matches, because get the matches, search matches changes, and this filter here will change and we will get new results. Okay, so let's see this in action. What I expect right now is to have on my drawer a search field. I'm going to type something and it's going to filter my content. So let's see if that is going to happen or not. Okay. Okay. As we can see, it's already here. Okay. And when we open, we need to check why this is closing. Okay. But let's type here, I know, for mix, for example. And everything here in the mix has changed. Okay. Or let's say for indoor. Okay, so it's working right now in here, right? But there's a couple of things we want to do. Okay, so first thing is I want to give a little bit of space here. As you can see, it's very, very close to the top. Okay, so let's use our classes to do that. Although here in the preview it looks perfect. Let's just come here and just add another class that is the margin, top base. Okay, so it can breathe a little bit. Actually, we can try here to see how does that look like. Okay, so on this one, let's give here the margin top. Oops, margin. What's going on? Margin top base. Okay, yeah, you can see now it's breathing, right? And something that is happening is, if you see when I click something here, it's coming down, and also here it's not changing anything, right? So let's take a look at that. So here, well, it's not changing because it actually has, as this hard coded. Okay, so it makes sense that it doesn't change. Okay, let's take a look at that a little bit later. Now let's see why this is just closing when I click. So let's take a look here at the code that we have for the touch on the move. Okay, so when we move, we are just checking the limits. Okay, nothing special here. But when we are on the end, let's just see what happened here. Okay, so we add the animated class if parameters initial position equals. Oh, okay, equals. So here's the problem. So this is JavaScript, right? And JavaScript, well, it's a little bit different denotation from OutSystems. So when we're doing comparison in JavaScript, we need to use this or even this. So this, it looks like it will see if it is the same type and the same value. Okay, so this was actually wrong. So let's just publish this and let's see what will happen now. Okay, so just deploying. Let's see if this is fixed now. Hopefully that's just the only problem we got. Okay, now, okay. And we got it's closing and we are already able to type. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Cool. Okay, so this one is done. Now, the next one that we want is to, well, I know I need to fix that one, but let's do something first. As you can see, we can already see the search here, which is kind of annoying, right? Because what I want to do is, I would really like, to make this fluid in the terms that I don't want to be seeing anything in the drawer. And when I'm opening, I want to take advantage of the position and, and give some opacity so you can start seeing things. Why? While they are appearing on the screen while the drawer is opening, right? And when you drop, it will just, show everything or just make everything invisible. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, and what we want to do is here we want to play with the opacity. Okay, so okay, yeah. Now which one we'll use? Equal, or I'm going back to the question. Sorry. So I use the triple equal because I know it's an integer and I wanted to use that, but I could have used in this case the just two equals. But it's a good practice to always try to compare with the same object type if you know it's the same object type. But okay, going back to this one, let's just okay, let's use opacity. What I mean about using opacity. So for example, on the match search wrapper, right, that we have, let's look at the styles. So if I give here opacity 0, it will just disappear. If I give 0.5, it will show only half the transparency. And if I do 1, it shows everything. Okay. So what I want to do is basically create a variable, like we did on the Y of the drawer. So if you recall from last episode, or if you attended, or if you've seen the video, we have this variable that we have created that gives us the position of the drawer. So if I change here, you can see that this is what is influencing the position of my drawer, right? So we're going to do the same. We're going to get a variable to control the opacity of the things that we have in the list. Okay, cool. So how are we going to do that? As you can see, what I want to make we use the opacity. It's on this here, right? So if I use opacity here 0.5, this is what I got. And also on my list, I also want, you know, to just, if I give opacity 0.5, you see, I want everything that it's inside my content, this content here. I just wanted to make this this opacity. Okay, cool. So this leads us again to Service Studio. Okay, and let's go here to the theme. Okay, and on the theme, what are we going to do is on our we already have our drawer wrapper here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we already have the drawer wrapper animated. Okay, cool. Now I want to get, you know, the match search, you know, wrapper. Okay, so I want to say the opacity of this will be a variable, like I was saying, and let's call a very original name, not drawer y, but drawer opacity. Okay, and this is a variable that we will need to deal with. Okay, now the list, I want also to give this, but I'm not going to do this on the theme because I don't want this to happen to all the lists, right? I just want on my homepage. So here on the list, and it's the list group. Okay, in this one, I just want, you know, to use my opacity here, and my variable will be here drawer opacity. Okay, cool. Now with these, right, I only need now is to make my logic in order to get my drawer opacity. Okay. Okay. So first things first, on the onReady, right? I'm just, you know, adding this. I'm adding this here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new variable here, and I'm going to say that when we start, okay, the opacity, because the drawer always starts, you know, closed. So I'm going to say that my opacity is actually 0. Okay. What I'm going to do is when I move, I'm going to see what position is my drawer, and depending on that position, I'm going to calculate my opacity. So if it is open until half the screen, it's going to be 50% or 0.5. It's full, it's going to be 1. Okay, so that's the logic we need to do. Okay, to help me on that, I need to get my max height that my y variable can go. Okay, so let me just add an output parameter here that I'm going to call the max height. Okay, and this max height, I actually, well, I don't need, I have the initial, so the initial position in the beginning, it's the max height that the y can have because the drawer is open on the bottom. So I'm just going to create here, you know, the max height, okay, variable. And so I've got my initial position, but also I'm going to say that my max height, it's actually my initial position, okay? So with this, I now have something to compare when I move. So when I start moving, right? When I start moving, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the style, you know, the variable, okay? So in the way I did this, okay, I'm going to do the same, but for the opacity, okay? The opacity. Now, this could be simple, but like anything in life, there's always a little bit of complexity. What I want is a number between 0, right? And a number between 0 and 1, okay? And I want a decimal number. How am I going to do that? Okay, so let's add here the parameter of the max height, okay? So this is going to be height, Okay, so this is going to be a simple formula, right? So what I'm going to do is I want to have my max height, right, minus my new y. Okay, new y is a position where the drawer is. Remember, if the drawer is open, this will be equal to max height. If the drawer is closed, sorry, if it is closed, it's the max height. If it is open, this will be 0. Okay, so this means that if I get this the percentage of this will give me directly the opacity. Okay, so if let's check if new y it's equal to 0, max height dividing by max height is 1, so my opacity is 1. It means that when the drawer is completely open, the opacity will be 1. When the new y it's equal to max height, it means it's completely collapsed. This will give 0, and 0 dividing by any number it's 0, so we're going to have the drawer opacity to 0. Okay, now this is cool, but we need so this is going to give us a decimal. Okay, so I want to use a decimal with two digital places. Okay, and now in JavaScript we need to do this in this way. So let's just check here how it's okay. We have an error. We're going to check that error later. But so imagine that you have 0.254. Okay, so how are we going to use math round? Because the way round works, if you use this, okay, this is just going to round always to the units. Okay, so to get two decimal places, this is kind of jumping through hoops. We need to first, to multiply this by 100. Okay, and now after that, I'm just going to divide this by 100. Okay, so in order to get the two decimal places for this number, I need to, jump a little bit here through hoops to do this, to use math round. Okay, so I'm going to do that here. So I already have this, right? So what I'm going to do is I already have my number, right? And I'm going to multiply this number by 100. Okay, I'm just going to, math. It's with uppercase, of course. Math dot round. Okay, this, and now I'm just going to divide this. Okay, round here, sorry. And I'm just going to divide this by 100. And I finally get my opacity. Okay, so max height will be my max height. Okay, and when we move, we will see this opacity. Okay, so very much the math. So why do you need those two decimal places as the value for the variable? Couldn't you just put the decimal number with all the decimal places? Well, that's actually interesting. Let's try to see what happened. I have to say that this can give maybe it's just my belief that this wouldn't work if it's not with some fixed decimal numbers, but let's give it a try. So okay, this is cool. And now one last thing is when we hand this, right, we need also to define what's going to happen. Okay, so when we close, right, so let's see, here we are closing, right, close. So when we close, we are going to say that let's just copy paste this, that it's the final. Okay, the drawer opacity, it's going to be, so if it is closing and it closes, it's 0, right? If it closes but it gets open again, then it's going to be 1, right? And then it's opening and it's open, right? And if it's closing, going back, let's just use this. Okay, so let's see what happens. That's actually a very good question. Yeah, let's try that. So I know. I also agree. I don't know why I use the two decimal places. Let's see if it is any a belief or not. But so let's see. Well, it's actually working, right? Okay, that's cool. Okay, let's see the values that we have on the variable, and let's check that. Okay, so okay, here is one, of course. Yeah, well, it's a big number, right? Okay, maybe I just learned something. Now we don't need to do all of those hoops. So we got another question here. So Ricardo, thanks for the suggestion. I'm gonna stay like that. I'm not gonna add that math complexity. With so much effects, will you use the translate Z to activate the GPU of the device, or is it not needed? Well, actually, in this case, we won't need. Let's just turn on real quick here to see um, how much of rendering we are using. Okay, so the paint flashing is going to show where it's painting. Actually, it's showing us that this is always being painted, so we need to fix this. Okay, there's an issue here. But if you see when we open uh, and when it's moving, as you can see, it's not repainting. So it's already using the GPU. I don't think we need to worry about using the translate CA here. Okay. Well, that's not rather cool because now I find I have to fix something here. Okay, a lot of things to fix. So let's get back to here. So this is now working. Oh, there's something here that we can improve, right? That is, if you see, if I stop dragging here, it immediately disappears. Okay, that's because I don't have a transition here when this is being animated. Okay, so let's head that really quick. It means that what I need to do is on the theme here. So I already have the drawers, right? So when the drawer wrapper it's animated, right? What I want is on my, also on my, was it match search wrapper? Okay. I want also the transition to be let's just reduce this to 500. So not only on my drawer the movement will be have this transition with 500 milliseconds and with ease, but also the opacity. So let's publish this real quick and let's see the difference. So if you're checking right now, see when I drop it disappears immediately, and with this change that I've made, whenever I open or close, it will also, the opacity will follow that transition. So as you can see, oops. Oh no, it didn't work. Did this refreshed? I think so, right? Okay, so it's working for this, but it's not working for the list. Okay, so I also would need to do this for the list. Okay, so because if you see on the search, yeah, the search is not disappearing. So let's leave it right now like this. Okay, there are a couple more things that I would like to do, and I don't want to take a lot of the time here. So something's cool that I would like to do is, we have here a border radius. I want as much as I'm doing this to the opacity, I want this to become, with the borders reduced, so no borders when it's open and the borders really rounded when this is down. And to do this, it's actually really simple because we already have that variable of the opacity. Okay, so going here to our style, okay, on the draw wrapper, it's where I have, this border radius, that I have this border radius base. Now let's just remove this from here, and what we can do is the following. We can use a calc, right? And what we want to do is, as you can see, it's the inverse of the opacity. So when the opacity is 0, right, it means that I want to have border radius. When the opacity is 1, I want to have no border radius. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 minus my variable, okay, the drawer opacity. Okay, and this gives me exactly the opposite, right? And now in the end of this, what I want to do is to actually do this math first, and then just, it's really interesting what you can do with JavaScript nowadays. Let's multiply this by a number. Let's say, I know I use that base. Let's just use 20 pixel now to try. So what should happen is when that variable it's 0, right? When it's collapsed, we should have 20. Oh, oops! I made something really wrong here. What did I do? Let's check real quick. Let's look. What did I do so wrong that made this disappear from the screen? Oh, it's because I don't know how to close my CSS with a semicolon. Sorry so much for that. Actually, I was being warned by Service Studio. I just ignored it and clicked because it looked like I was in a hurry, you know. Now, as you can see, so opacity it's 0 and my border radius it's 20. And when I start, you know, moving up, see the border disappearing? Okay, really nice. Well, really nice effect, right? Cool. So see, with variables and a little bit of CSS, there are a lot of things that we can do that aren't that affordable in terms of the time of the development, okay? Cool. Now, remember, I still need to fix this because I have this really hard-coded here, right? And what I want to do is I want to stop this, you know, from being hard-coded, okay? Okay, so we have here from another question, sorry. Shouldn't you create a new variable for the border radius instead of reusing the opacity one? If for any reason you change the rules for the opacity will affect it. That's a very good note or comment. Yes, I should. I have to say that I was a little bit lazy here. I was reusing the opacity, but the matter of the fact is, in terms of code maintenance in the future, this could give a lot of problems because you're going to fix something on the opacity and you would break the border radius. So that's a very good comment, and I think I'll do it maybe on the next session. Maybe there's always some space to tune. Let me just take a note of that here, okay, of for the next session on my parking lot. Let's just say here, so make border radius independent of opacity, okay? That's actually a good practice to show, so I'm gonna park that here. Cool. Thanks for the comment. Really good one. You catch me. There's nothing I'm doing that you guys aren't looking. So let's go here for the matches. Now, what we need to do, we need to get the number of matches that we have and we need to fill it here, okay? So one of the things that I also want to do is I could use, you know, the length of the list that I already have here. But what I want to do is I want to also to optimize a little bit the performance here. And I just want, and I'll show, implement that when I open is when I'm going to get, you know, my list. Okay, so I don't want to get the list as soon as we open the page, but I want to get the total count. Okay, I'm saying that because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to my logic. I have my server actions all in this core on the core services, and I'm going to open this, and I'm on the match. I'm going to get match count. Okay, I'm going to create this new returns the match count for a specific user. Okay, I'm going to make this public. This will receive as an input the user ID. Okay, the user identifier. And what it will return is going to be, the count. The count. Oops, not not what I wrote. It's the count. Let's get that. So let's get matches. And on the get matches, let's just filter this really quick by user ID, right? So the created by is going to be my user ID as an input parameter for this action. And what I want is to get this very beautiful number that is going to be the count. And I'm going to just set the count with the get user parameter get matches. Okay, and well, it should be a long integer. So let's just change this to long integer. Okay, cool. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna publish this really quick. And on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to get those valuables, that value here. Okay, so I'm going to reference that CS module. I'm going to just refresh this all. I'm going to get the match count. I'm going to apply. And I'm going to create here as a data action, get match count. Okay. And on the get match count, I'm going to use the get match count. Okay. With the get user ID, it's already filled. And well, the variable would be, I just need to say that this is a long integer. And this is, well, let's get the get match count. And I'm just going to say that the count is the result from here. Okay. Okay, set count. Oh, come on. Set count. Okay, cool. Now this is not being used yet, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get here and I'm going to, on the 8 matches, I'm going to actually use here an expression, and this expression will be the get match count. Now I'm going to add something that is matches, right? Now let's make this a little bit smarter. So I'm going to add match, right? And if the count is 1, right? I'm not going to add anything. If not, I'm going to add is, right? Because I want to have 1 match, 0 matches, 1 match, 2 matches, 3 matches, and so on. Okay. So I'm going to do that. And I have my 8 matches here, right? And let's just publish this real quick. And let's see this in action. But shouldn't the match count return the count of matches from the search term? You could just use the get matches count. Very nice. Very good. Very good. Thank you for that. I totally forget that. Let's just see if this is getting something now, but it's 8. Is it 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's a good one. So, but like you said, if I now say the mix, right, it's going to give us 8 matches anyway. Well, you are really helping me here. So cool. Let's just have match count for a search term. You're not sleeping, no, sir. Okay, and well, let's just add that information here. What we can do, it's actually just come here and just copy paste this. And on the filters, we can add 1 filter. Let's say that, this is search text, not term. Okay, cool. Now on the match and the location. So I also need the location. Okay, that's cool. Now let's just test this, right? From my user ID. I have no idea what is my user ID, but let's see. Maybe we have created by here. Where's the created by? Oh, well, somehow there's a 0 here, and what does that mean? And the ID is gonna be, the text will be like mix. Let's see if we get a different count. Okay, now it's 6. Okay, so this is working. Let's just publish this. And let's refresh this on this side. Very good catch, very good catch. Because I was, did I publish this? I was worried with the front end part, but it's very important to have also the logic part. Okay, so I'm gonna, just refresh this. I'm gonna apply. On the match count, it's now asking for the search text that I'm gonna use on the search text, and that's cool. So one of the things that you might notice is that, well, when I don't know, right, the matches, so when I open this, right, it appears 0 and then it shows a 8, right? So this can take a little bit of time. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to come here and I want to, add an effect. While I don't have results, I want to have something like a blur like this, okay? And when I have the results, I want to show the results, okay? So let's do that. So on the home, right, I will have this. See, now here I'm going to use an if. So on the expression, for that, for this, to see if I would end on match or matches, I use the if in line. In here I'm using the if because I want to actually see a difference. So when my match count is data fetched, okay, I want to show the result. When it's not, I'm just going to show here a label that is going to be n matches, doesn't matter, right? Because I'm going to do this. I'm going to use this blurring. Okay, I'm going to use this blurring class. And I'm just going to copy this really, really fast. To our theme. Oops, not this one, this one. To our theme, and I'm just gonna add here this blurring, okay? So as you can see, it's blurred. So again, let's check if it's data fetched, I'm gonna show. If not, it's gonna be blurred, okay? So let's see this in action. Okay, cool. It's published. Now let's open this. So, oops, maybe I don't know if it was a little bit fast, but let's use the, the search here. So I'm gonna error. Okay, it didn't change, right? Why? Because, so when I'm changing this, I'm refreshing the get matches, but I'm not refreshing the get match count. So this is how we find the flaws, right? It's when we test things. Okay, cool. So now let's go. Let's come here and let's search for air. Okay, and it's just, it's just blurred, right? Cool. Okay, so let's leave this effect for now. But like I said, so when I want to open, I don't want this, to be already here. So the only thing I need to do this is on the fetched. Okay, sorry for coming back to this, but why are you repeating the search in action in the cursor? Can't you just get match count in the expression screen? Like that you wouldn't need the action. So what I wanted to show is that now I'm going to just get the matches on demand, okay? Because when I create the screen, I don't want to go fetch for the list, right? I just want to go get the list when I open it, okay? Because imagine the use case, this never opens, you're gonna do something here on the options, so I don't need, for a performance sake, I don't need to do this query, okay? That's the example that I'm giving here, okay? So for now, what I need to do is I need to create here an action, okay, that is get matches, okay, and on this one, I'm going to refresh this one, okay, and what I want to do is I just want to do this once, right, because this is probably not going to change every time I open my drawer. So I'm going to just check if this is already data fetched, okay, so let's use the positive. So if it's not data fetched, it means needs data, okay, yes, because I like to have trues going down, false, and I'm going to do this, okay. Now what I need to do is whenever I'm opening my drawer, okay, it means that I'm closing, I'm opening, it means I'm opening, this means that I open, so I'm going to get the matches here, okay. So this way, you know, when I trigger these get matches, I will when I open, it will trigger this and it will get the matches. So right now it got the amount. See, if I start, you know, I don't have anything, right? But when as soon as I release it, it's going to query this to the server and it's going to give me the results. And if I close and open again, it just won't query again because I just protected that. But I could leave it because this could be refreshed, but it's highly that it won't happen. So let's leave it like this, okay? Cool. Now, almost finishing here, right? Now what we want to do, you know, on the application, we have to. So I can see the list of the matches, then to see the detail, we'll work on that later. But now I can do two actions. One is to register my match details, and the other one is, you know, to prepare the next match. The next match. That was the use cases for this application. I want to register everything that I did, how I played, what I hate, how I felt, how were my opponents, how was my partner. That's what I want to register. That I'm going to probably use a little bit of GPT models to help me, you know, prepare next match, saying, give me the top 4 things that I need to worry about while preparing the next game. But that's for another episodes. Now, what I'm going to do is just to create here those buttons, okay? And the buttons, I want to use some cards, right? And on those cards, what I want to do is I want to have them here, okay? So let's use what we've got. Okay, let's go here back to home. Now, one of the techniques, I want to hide this, right? So what I'm going to do is on my drawer, I'm going to enclose in an if. Then if I'm going to give the condition false as hard-coded, and I'm going to put this inside the false. Okay, now, why do we do this? Because now I have this toggle here that will allow me to show or hide, you know, the drawer. Okay. So let's hide it for now because I want to work on this part here of the content, right? Let me just drag here a new container. This new container will have, you know, margin base, so it has some space to breathe. Cool. And now what I want to do is I want to have those two options. So I'm going to use the column 2, okay, inside the container here. Margin space, sorry, margin base. I was saying space to breathe and I wrote space instead of base. So I'm going to have the columns here. And well, what I'm going to use, it's the card background, okay? And on the card background, you know, I want my content, you know, and the content here will be, you know, prepare my next match, okay? And well, that's probably on my second card. So let me just put this here. This one I want to, you know, I want to have, I think, I don't know, register match details, register match, match details. And well, let's use some background images. Okay, let me just import here really quick some images. Okay, I'm going to import this one and import this one. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this one inside. Well, let's just put here first. Strategy will go to the next one. Oh, come on. Oh, well, a little bit of a struggle here. Okay, let's drop this here. Okay, cool. Let's put this image here and let's put this image here. Okay, and on the card background, let's say the minimum height of 100 on both of them. Okay, and let's give it a name. Let's call this the, I don't know, card button or button card or something like that. Okay. This is card background. Let's call card button. Okay. So we can then do some logic around this. Card button, card button. Okay, let's just publish this real quick to see how it look like. And let's see what we can do. Okay, cool. Now let me just close this. Well, this is here. Okay, this doesn't look much bright, right? So I think we can use, you know, some CSS here. So as you have seen, I have it's not, this is not here. It wasn't not here by any coincidence. So what I'm going to do, it's actually I'm going to, you know, to use this here, you know, just to change this, put this a little bit more blue. Okay, and what I'm going to do also is on my card button. Okay, let's just change a little bit the font. Okay, border radius also can be, you know, the variable that we have created, that is the border radius base. Let's say font size, it should be var. It was, let's just check really quick the typography. I know for the 16, let's say base. Okay, font size base. Okay, let's say also the font weight can be bold. Okay, font weight can be bold. And you know, I just want to add here a little bit of you know, on the like a small dash. Okay, so this looks like a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going on, let's inspect this to see the name. Okay, this is on the card background content. Okay, let's go here to sources again. So on the card button, okay, on the content, okay, on the after, okay, I want to create here, you know, just a small line. Okay, I'm gonna have no content. Let's say the width can be, I don't know, something small, like a third, like 30%. Background, it can be my white, that's, you know, color neutral 0. So I'm not making these variables up, you know, you have seen. I just go to, you know, to Service Studio and I check that. Okay, so I'm going to say that my height is going to be, I don't know, 3 pixel. So I want it to be a line. I also want it, you know, the position to be absolute, and I want it, you know, to have my left to be 0, and I know my bottom, let's see 0, what happens. Okay, it's, yeah, let's make it -5. okay, to be a little bit below the text. Okay, okay, now it's looking a little bit better. One of the things that I wanted to do also is, if you see, this is kind of in the middle. So on the card background, right, you can see that we have this flex here, and on the flex we have the align items center. So let's just try to see if we align this at the end. Yeah. Okay, it looks better. It looks a little bit below. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, let's come here. Let's copy this on Service Studio. Let's look at what we have here. Okay, this is for the card buttons, right? Card button. And here we go. We put this here, and we also need to change what I was saying was, okay, the card background. I just need to override here the align items to be, end. Okay. Okay, now this is looking a little bit better now. And now what I want is, when I click this, okay, I want this to have this effect that we have like in material design, that is, this. So when I click, if you see, it creates a ripple effect of on the place where I clicked. Okay, so let's try to do this. Okay, well, we already have here the code, so it shouldn't be that hard. Okay, so let's do that. And also, because nothing is easy, is let's separate this in a block, because I think this card button can be reused in a lot of places. So let's just use that where it should be used. Okay. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. So let's create here a new block really quick, and this is the last thing that I'm doing. That's gonna be my button, my card button. Okay. And on my card button, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, everything that I've done here, nothing will be lost. I'm just going to use this, right? On my card button, I'm just going to use this here. Okay. Now, what I need to do is I need to get my text, right? My title. Okay. And instead of having here register match details, I need to have, oops, not text, I need to have expression, right? That is going to be my title, right? I'm just going to get this from here, and on my image, I'm going to just use an URL. I'm going to get here my image URL. Okay, that's a text, and in here, the image URL will be my image URL. Okay, cool. Now, to use this in the home, what do I need to do is to actually come here and get my button, card button. Okay, and I'm gonna just drag it here and drag it here. So on the column 1, right, my content will be register match details, register match details, and my image URL will be on my images, this the log the URL. Cool. Now this one can go, and this one here on the content, I have the prepare next match. I'm gonna just add that here, and on the image, I'm gonna just use it would be the images strategy URL. Cool. Now let's remove this from here. Now we already got these two in here, so let's make this let's make this this logic. Okay, so let's look for the code pen. Okay, so I need to create this logic on my my onReady. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna, I'm just gonna really copy paste this. Okay, and on my onReady, I'm just gonna card button on my onReady. Okay, I'm just gonna drag a JavaScript here. Okay, and on my JavaScript, I'm just gonna add this. So this is a function, okay, that's gonna create a span, and that span is gonna create the ripple effect inside, and it's gonna append the ripple or the circle insert into the button. Okay, so everything's okay here. Now, what I don't want is to get all buttons, to get this. I want a specific button. So I want my button. What's gonna work as the button is gonna be my document, get element by ID. Okay, let's give this the parameter of the card button widget ID. Okay, and I'm gonna get the element, and then there's a wrapper. So when we build blocks, they have a wrapper. So I don't, what I want to use is the first child. So it's the first div after my definition of my block, and on that, this is where I'm going to add my event listener. That's when I click it, I'm going to create the ripple. Okay. Now when I do this, it will just create that. So the card button widget ID should be my own, well, should be the card button should be my own should be my own ID. How do I have my name here? Card button ID. Should be this one, sorry. Okay, should be the card button. So when I click, that's going to do that ripple. Okay, I still need to add the CSS here. Okay, really quick, I'm going to add the CSS for that span. Okay, and let's see if this works. So at least when I click it, it should, create that ripple effect. Let's see if this is working. By the way, I had this to my block because I want, when someone drags my block, they didn't be worried if this is a reusable block in other applications, for instance. They wouldn't have to worry about having this created in their own theme. Okay, now I click, see? Cool, right? It gives a good effect. Now I need to do something when I click it, right? So what am I going to do? So I'm going to create an event here. And the event is going to be click. And this click, I can actually, I don't know, I'm going to have here a value. Okay, that I can fill or not. I'm saying that's mandatory, but it's not going to be mandatory. So I'm going to add a client action. This is just going to be trigger click. Okay, now the trigger click is going to do this. Well, I'm going to say, sorry, yeah. Now the trigger click, it's going to do this. Let's leave this empty for now. Maybe we can pass the value here, but for now, I don't think we need, we can, I don't know, we can on the value, we can, maybe we can move the title, Now, what we need to do is, let's also look at this, right? So what we want to do is we want to create the ripple effect, right? This is going to create this ripple effect. If you see, this ripple effect is being done to a span that is going to be animated. Okay, so actually this is the circle is going to have the ripple CSS class, and if you see here, the ripple class is the one that has the animation. Okay, so what I can do is on circle, I can get, you know, an event listener that is going to listen to animation, not cancel, animation end, you know, and on this, what I can do is actually just, you know, trigger my click. Okay, so this will allow me to see the animation, and then it's going to trigger the click. Okay, something wrong here. Click event handler. Okay, so I've got this one, right? And I'm gonna just get a new client action. That's gonna be the card button click. I'm just gonna show the message that's gonna be, you know, the value. And on the other one, I'm gonna use exactly the same card button click with the value. Okay. So now let's just publish this and see what happens. Okay, so here it is deployed. Are you stopping the original click propagation? That's a very good question also. I haven't done that, but it would be probably helpful because we don't want to be propagating the click ones. Well, let me put here on my parking lot, stop the click propagation on card button. Cool. Everyone's watching, that's cool. So when I click, I got the CD effect and I got register match details. And when I click this one, I get prepare next match. Okay. So this is cool. This is now working, right? But if you see, when I'm opening this, it's kind of, well, it's here. So the only thing I need to do is I want to take that out of the way, right? So in the same way that I was controlling if the message is showing, I'm going to get the variable saying is or are options showing, right? And I'm gonna, you know, I'm just gonna get this also enclosing an if. I'm gonna use are options showing. No, it's not showing. What's the maybe it's not a. It needs to be a boolean. A boolean. Are options showing, right? It's not showing. So what we want to do is we want to create a new. It's going to be say show options, right? Show options, and the show options, what they will do, or it will assign the are options showing to true. Okay, and now when do we want this to be set? So we want this to be set after the show message. So on the show message, I'm animating here my message, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm on my message. I'm going to add my event listener animation hand. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just as simple as create my show options. Okay. Nice. So let's see this in action. And here we go. Now we shouldn't see anything on the screen, right? And then we should see things actually appearing in a nice way. Okay. Well, if you've seen it, it just appeared. Okay, we can do better. Let's do that really quick. I didn't remember that, but so what we want to do is we can use the animate, and I can animate this, you know, to appear in a fade in fast. Okay, fast. And also what I can do is on the next one to give the sense of of a sequence, I'm also going to do fade in. I'm also going to do fast. Oops. But fast, it's 500 milliseconds. In 300, I'm just going to be the delay. So it's just going to be an interesting an interesting fade motion. Okay, let's just check that, and then let's just hunt for 2 bugs that we found during the way, and it's done for today. I mean, it's late for everyone. So let's just open here, and it will just open this, and it will just do like this sequence of fading, which I think it's kind of nice. So I click, everything is working. Okay, so now I think this is cool. So this is opening, closing, cool. Now we saw something or 2 things. Remember, so when on the rendering, on the paint flashing, it means that we are painting this all in all. It means that probably this animation is running probably forever, right? And it's doing this, so this is consuming resources from my browser, and we don't want to do that. Okay, so to fix that, what I need to do is to actually I believe that on the show message I have my animate, right? That's gonna give me the class animated to my message, and this is what is animating. So what I can do, it's on the animation end, I can actually check here this event. I can use the event here, or I can actually add here the e dot target dot class list remove animated. Okay, so it means that as soon as it animates, it will look at the target of it on the class list, and it will remove. So let's see if this resolves that painting issue that we have. Well, let's see if this doesn't break what I've done so far. Okay, cool. Now let's see if this is doing it or not. So it's animating. Oh, okay, so it didn't work. Probably there is something here that I'm not doing correctly. Okay, let's go real quick. So when you want to find some code, okay, just type here the code that you want to find. Yeah, let's check this. And on animation end, okay, it comes here. Okay, so let's check e.target. That's the span, right? It should be probably the parent. The parent element should have the class list remove animated. Okay. Okay, that's where it went wrong. Okay, so it's because it's the target dot parent element dot class list. Okay. Now that one will fix this one, but if you see, we have a problem here, right? I got this error saying can't read properties of null. So let's just click here to see where that happens. Okay, it happens here. So it means that I'm getting on the message, it's null, right? It's all it's a very good like inherit. It's always the parent's fault, correct? So that's why I wanted to use the parent there. That's a good one. So in here you see that not the parent but the message, the style, it's null. It means, so when you got an error like this, cannot read properties of null reading style, it means that message here is null. Okay, let's look at the code and find out what might be the reason. That's gonna be the it's here also in the same place. Okay, so I'm getting the message from the get element by ID, and I'm getting this. Now what happens is that I'm mixing up, JavaScript code in the DOM and the model that we have, because I'm only showing the message here, setting it to true, and I'm running the JavaScript after I set this. But doing things here in the flow, it doesn't mean that the UI or the DOM has already been changed. So what we need to do, it's a good way to solve this is to use this resolve inside the JavaScript node, because what this will do, it will execute this, or everything here is executed in a promise, but this in this way it will create what, if you check the training in OutSystems, it's an asynchronous function in JavaScript, which means that it will leave not thread, because JavaScript doesn't have the thread, but it will flush what we have done here into the DOM, and in this case the show message to true, it will show the element in the DOM. So when we do the get element by ID, the element should already exist in the DOM. So let's check that. Let's just publish this, and before this, let's just clean all the errors that we might have here in the console. Let's just refresh this. I got an error, but it's because of the favorite icon. And as you can see now, everything went smoothly, and there is no longer that problem. So this is a very good example that when we mix the OutSystems with the variables or the client-side code that we're building with JavaScript, we need to be very careful, because these kind of things can happen, and we need to know how to deal with it. So there's no problem using JavaScript, but we need to be very aware of what you're doing. So once again, a 1 hour session that I thought it was going to be 1 hour took a little bit more, but it was everything that I wanted to do for today. So I already have my home screen created, working fine. Next time you can show how to fix the favicon icon. Also, we might have many times, but never do things about it. It's true. I probably have this a lot of times. So maybe let's park this correct. Correct the favicon icon error. So I want to thank everyone that has been attending the session. I hope you enjoyed. At least I did, and now my application is a little bit more complete. We saw how to create that ripple effect, how to use variables to control the opacity while we're dragging this drawer. Getting data when we need to get the data. So I think there's a lot of use cases here. So I hope you enjoyed. Well, hopefully you are getting something out of this. At least I'm getting, because as the way I'm moving, I'm also learning a lot of stuff. So thank you very much, everyone, and I hope to see you on the next episode. That will be probably next week. So thank you very much, and thank you for being here with us today. Bye bye.